Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Eye, Board Game Geek, getting ready to do our second set of turns. We already did a few turns, but getting ready to do a second set of turns for this playthrough of the Doom that came to Atlantic City. I do first, of course, whenever I do these playthroughs, especially when I'm learning with you the game, I like to make sure that I catch mistakes and corrections. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give you an explanation of what that is. So let's get on to a, not a significant, but important correction. Okay, so you can see here, Cthulhu had landed there before in the last session, and he claimed this hotel, or resort, rather. And in doing so, he got a tome, but also he had also cleared the space, which allows me to put one of his gate markers on the space there, which is part of the victory conditions of the game. Because, you know, if you open up, you have two ways basically you can get to victory. The main way you get to victory is by opening gates. And you can also use your gates, and also when people land on your gates, they have to pay you a gate toll. I'll show you what that looks like. So you can see on this quadrant of the board here, it says that this is the Nightmare Corpse City of Arlay, or Relay, or Arlay, or whatever. And these gate cards here that I have in front of me, let me back up a little bit so you can see the gate cards better. These gate cards I have are related to that. So you can see here's a gate card to Relay. So we need to take this. Now you can also see that there is there's a gate toll of two cultists when you land on this, when an opponent lands on this space. But you also have an ability. It says you may re-roll destruction rolls. You may re-roll your destruction roll by advancing your doubles counter and make the following sacrifice. If you have one gate to Relay, which is what we have now, then you would have to pay 3 cultists to use this ability. If you have 2, and if you have 3, 1. If you control all gates to Relay, you automatically succeed at any destruction attempt. That's extremely powerful, so obviously no one's going to want Cthulhu to get all of these. Anyway, those go in, basically those go next to the player board, and everybody only needs one of them just to show that they have, well, I guess you can get one for every, but they all say the same thing, so every gate to Arlay is going to say the same thing. But let's go to his board, to Cthulhu's board, and show you how we manage that. So, I don't want to say I'm too limited on space. I can clear out some games on the other end of the table. I may have to shuffle those around and move them off because I was getting ready to go through some rules stuff and get ready to do some playthroughs with those. But anyway, we're just going to move this down right now. We'll put this his chance card right there, and let's see if we can get him fully in the camera there. There we go. We'll just put this next to his book right here. As you can see, you can end up with quite a few of these oversized cards, which is cool. I actually like them. So he's got on this side. On this side over here, I have his Doom, and then over here I have his Book of Thoth. That I need to remember that when you land on an open gate, you may take one chant card from them. When I land on an opponent's gate, which that's the first gate in the board, so that's not going to be relevant. But anyway, that's important. So we've got to keep looking at these boards when we take our turns, make sure we're doing that. So that was the major correction. There was only one other thing I wanted to share with you. Okay, the last thing I wanted to share before we get on with our regular turns is we had Nyarlathotep. He rolled doubles on his second movement roll too, and I inserted this in his last video, so you may not notice. But if you go back to the last video, you might notice that during the last 2 turns of his opponents, he was actually back. He was actually here, and he ended up moving to this dark open space. Anyway, I made that correction last time. I just wanted to note, if you looked in the video and you saw that he had not moved while the other 2 had already passed, that I had made a correction midstream, videoed the second part of his turn, and inserted it in the last video. But basically, that's it for the corrections. Now we're just going to get on with, and there were silly corrections, things I should have caught, and if we were all playing in a group of people, we would have caught. But let's keep going and get on with our regular turns. Okay, so first up we have Nyarlathotep. He's doing pretty well for himself. He's got this Primordial Might Providence trait and his Mask of Nyarlathotep. That Primordial Might gives him +2 to attacks and +1 destruction. It's pretty good. Makes him pretty beefy. So let's go to the dice roller, roll his roll, and move him. Okay, here's his dice roll. Okay, 7. Let's get him moved, get back to the table, and move him 7. 7 is also an excellent song by Dave Matthews Band. Just saying. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He gets a chance card. I don't think he has any special abilities in regards to chance cards, so we're just going to draw him one. Oh, there goes my computer yelling at me. He gets a Sanguine Sentinel. Play after an opponent completes movement. The target must immediately attack you. If you win the combat, the target turns end. That's a great one for him with his beefy attack rolls. I mean, it's +2. That's still a little risky, but man, that's a good deal. Anyway, that's going to end his turn, so we're going to move on. Let me show you where he ended up, by the way. That's where he is right there, and that's going to end his turn. So we're going to move on to Shub-Niggurath. Yeah, Shub-Niggurath, he's up here at the top of the board, and he's going to move. I got to check on some things with combat rules. I was trying to remember if it's 3 players or 2 players that they can attack anybody in their region. I got to look that up. But anyway, if he moves into the next region with Cthulhu, there may be a fight. We'll see. Okay, yeah. So a fight is mandatory if 2 guys are on the same space. It's optional if they're in the same region. They can choose to attack each other. But anyway, let's roll. Let's roll for Shub-Niggurath now. Okay, here's the dice roller. Let's see what we get. An 11. Man, I wish I had these big rolls in other games. Okay, let's go to the table and move him. Okay, he's way up here at the top of the board, so he's got a lot of movement to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, he landed on a spot with a over here with a resort. That's awesome. He has to make 2 attack rolls. Now, he doesn't have any bonuses to his attacks yet, so he's just going to have to roll straight up. But when it does succeed in destroying something, which he hasn't yet, he gets an extra cultist. Pretty cool. Well, let's go to the dice roller and roll for his attacks. Since he's in the view, I'll just keep it all together there. And now remember, he has to roll 7 or better twice to take down that resort, and that would give him a pretty cool card as well. So there, he rolled his first roll, so he rolled an 8. It's 1 destruction roll. Now he's got to roll better than 7 again. Let's see if he can do it. Oh, I'm going to call it. That's an 8. It bounced out, but it was clearly on the 2. So he succeeded. Now what does that do? That again takes this resort, and we put it here on his board. That is currency for him. The next thing we do, and I'm not going to forget it this time, is we take one of his gate cards and we place it on the space that he just took, because there's no more properties on it. So he goes like that. He takes that. Now you notice that we're in the region of Lang, so we're going to find a Lang card, and they're color coded, so they're pretty easy to find. Or is it? It's Lang, yeah. Should be. Where's that? There they are, the Lang cards. So we're going to take one of these gate cards here, like this, and you can see this one says you may reroll your attack roll by advancing your doubles counter. Okay, so this is basically the gates have the same abilities. If you control all the gates in Lang, you may take an additional cultist from an opponent. If you defeat them in combat, you may use this power once during your turn. So that is going to go underneath Shub-Niggurath's board here, next to his Doom. And now we have 2 gates on the board. Now, if you land on somebody's gates, you have to pay the gate toll. If you land on your own gate and you have multiple gates, you can use those gates as you would the neutral gates on the board and move from gate to gate. How many times could I say gate in a couple of sentences? Okay, that's going to be the end of his turn, so let's move on to Cthulhu. Okay, here's the dice roller. Let's get Cthulhu going here. He rolled a 6. Let's see where that takes him. He too is at the top of the board. So we're going to move him. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he gets a Providence card. That's always a good thing because they usually are powers. So what does he get? He gets the Opener of the Ways. Nice. You are never banished for rolling doubles. This card may be played No, this is not a. Huh. Okay, this card may be played on an opponent. I don't know why I'd do that. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. He's going to put this on his Providence traits. So now he cannot be banished for rolling doubles. I don't know why you'd play on an opponent. I have to see what circumstances would drive that. Oh, you know what I forgot for taking it back? I'm going to step one back for Shub Niggurath because he did get a tome. And we're going to take a tome card. He got the Pancodic manuscripts. I forgot to do that when he took the resort. That's the point of having the resorts. When another player discards a card to improve a movement roll, which you can do, you may discard a card to negate this effect. Counts as a gate to Seleno for purposes of gate powers. So he also has this underneath his card. So we're going to move his chance card. I got to remember what his chance card is to see if it. Well, he's got the one that reduces destruction on another site. So anyway, that is going to end Cthulhu's turn as well. And that's going to be another round for us. So I think we'll keep these videos pretty short and sweet. I'll just do one more round right now, and we're going to go back to Nyarlathotep and take his turn. Now, if you remember, he's way up there on the back corner. He distanced himself from the others, and you know, it would be interesting for Cthulhu to attack Shub Niggurath. Shub Niggurath is kind of weak in comparison. Well, not really, but anyway, it would have been. Maybe we'll do that. I'm kind of playing conservatively right now, but we'll see. Let's make Nyarlathotep's roll. Okay, here's the dice roll. 7 seems to be my lucky number. It wasn't when I was trying to destroy buildings last session. Okay, let's go back to the table and move Nyarlathotep. Okay, he is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's on the New Jersey Avenue. So let's. He's going to make some destruction here. Now remember, he gets +1 to his destruction rolls due to his primordial might, and let's see how that goes for him. Oh, he's also got 2 chance cards. Let's remember what they are. Vendetta, use in place of movement to move to a current location of a foe, and the Sanguine Sentinel. Okay, yeah, that's the one. He basically got attack cards there. So let's go to the dice roller and see if he can roll to destroy a house. Okay, now remember, he needs a 7. He's got +1 to his roll. So wow, he did it easily. So we're going to take one house. Now there's still a house on there, so all he really gets out of that is the destruction of a home. Boom. But that leaves 1 home on a couple of spaces, so we're starting to get to the point where some more gates are going to come out more frequently. That's pretty cool, but that's going to end his turn. So let's move on to Shub Niggurath. He's on the screen, so I'll just do both. We can roll his dice and move him right there. Let's see what his roll is. He rolled a 7 as well, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Newport Avenue. Wow, another resort. Interesting. Now you can only have 1 tome, so we'll see how this goes. But let's just get right to it and roll his dice for attacking that resort. He did on the first attempt, he got a 7. Let's see, does he have anything that can help him? Not really. And 11, so he did destroy another resort. That's pretty good for him because that now puts a second gate out for him. We're going to have to start doing some fighting, I think, because some of these guys that can fight are going to have to keep these gates from opening. So he's now got 2 gates on the board, and he gets to draw another tome card and see what it is, and he can replace the one he has if he likes. So this is I can't even read what this is, the Tablets of Ning. It says up here in the top. It says, when moving clockwise, you may subtract 1 from your movement roll. Counts as a gate to... I don't know, man. That one that he has now, it says, when another player discards a card to improve movement roll, you may discard to negate the effect. I don't know. I think this one's better. It also gives him the effects of a gate of Kadath. So I think we're going to discard this tome, and we're going to give him this one instead. Plus, he now also gets a gate card to the Ultimate Abyss of Eldritch Nikai. So let's look that up. Let's see, Nikai. There's Nikai right here. It says you may reroll your defense roll by making the following sacrifices. Okay, this is a little different than the ones we had before, right? Yeah, because the other ones were attack rolls. This one says defense roll. If you control all gates to Nikai, any attack made against you automatically fails unless it's part of a doom action. Nice. So, yeah, he gets that as well. So he's now got a couple of gates up. and let's just, I don't know how we're going to, I'll put it over the book, but leave the book's power exposed on his board. So he's got 2 gates there now. He's doing pretty good. And he's got some pretty cool abilities that he can sacrifice houses on, though he doesn't have enough houses to sacrifice. Okay, that's basically the end of his turn, so now we're going to go move on to Cthulhu and see how he does. Okay, I'm still playing kind of conservatively. I'm not using the chance cards to attack and do things like that, because I'm trying to build up, and they're trying to beat themselves up, give them some power. So anyway, here's Cthulhu's dice roll. Okay, a 9, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's on the lighthouse, which means he has to sacrifice another one, a house. That's kind of bad. Anyway, there's his house to sacrifice. It's going into the pool. Dang, just when he was building up some currency with the houses, because you know these cards like this one requires 2 houses. He could have actually done it, but he didn't, and that's going to end Cthulhu's turn. So that's another round, guys. That's it. So we're going to stop there. Please, let me know if you're enjoying this playthrough. It is rather quick. I mean, we knocked out a bunch of turns, and I was able to dialogue about what those were. So I think we're doing okay here with our 3 baddies. And we'll see you next time. So thanks for watching.